Right. Okay. So let me find a cool place, a cool and a quiet place. Right. Let me get my stuff together. Okay. So this is basically what he said. Uh he wrote after Emerson Mnangagwa attended, that parliamentary session, the Q&A session. It was on Wednesday. The one that we did spend better. Yesterday talking about it in terms of what Mtulingwe, said. So when it was like, Mugabe never attended parliament outside the official opening ceremonies. You all know what, he was talking about right there, right? But he goes on to say, this is the third time that President ED has come to parliament outside official opening ceremonies. Next time, we must have the president during questioning time responding to our questions, which is quite okay. I don't see any anything wrong with Emerson Mnangagwa, anything wrong with us having a Westminster style Q&A session every Wednesday where the president is there, is responding to questions. Maybe you get folks from the opposition pose like 5 or 6 questions, like what they do the Westminster style, and have the president respond and ask, and answer questions. And then when you said that, there was somebody who came in and said, there's an individual by the name Victor.zw, or he said, he calls himself Ed V Keller. He commented and said Makua Rumbiza. And then when they responded by saying, comparing him with Mugabe, he's far much better. So comparing Emerson Mnangagwa, I remember this is coming from the first post, the primary post. And the primary post is speaking about Emerson Mnangagwa attending parliament, and this is the third time that he has done that outside of the opening ceremonies. Remember those opening ceremonies of parliament? So here he is, giving him his props to say that, oh, you know what, this is the third time that he's done so. And then this one says, Makwarum Bidza, and then Hwende said, comparing him with Mugabe is far much better. In over and he came to babysit. He came to be babysat by Parliament, and surely that alone cannot make him better than Mugabe. There was an indaba going on at Shek building, which was boycotted by his vices. And for him to say first, he needed to go somewhere. Unfortunately, he found that somewhere to be a Parliament, where he just said, and that can't improve his stock against that of Robert Mugabe. That was my response. But if you look at um, some of the responses, that came through, there's koma edima hembe vakati hamusati mava hanzi hamusati mava kuvanzwisa majokes here honorable, makava mhezha rini uye muchishandisa criteria. At least Mugabe akasiya munyika muchine opposition, or you still believe you're opposing. That is one comment. Another one says it's an insult comparing Mr. Mnangagwa with President Mugabe. Mwagati, withdraw your statement, you've got no shame. Mwagati, on what basis is he far much better than Mugabe? Mwagati, or maybe anakukulumisa, you can only support anokujigisa. And then he said a word, that I cannot repeat, live. Dr. Skumi vakati maakutanga president worship mkuru chete ndokuri kubva chingwa chenyu. And then vamwe vakati an apologetic and undisputed 2030s. He is better now on what best on what, but was he not Mugabe's enforcer? How can he be better on something he was a part of? Day one. And then Oppo, came in as well. He wrote something. I think his is a long, it's a long read. Where he said to say Mugabe is Mnangagwa was better than Mugabe is a real cruel joke, and I'm sure you know it. Mugabe's worst crime is Gukra Wundi, who was the mastermind of Gukra Wundi, Mr. MP. Your party won both the presidential and parliamentary elections in 2008. Who stopped Mugabe from accepting defeat? Did Mugabe run criminal cartels from Gushungo? Diary, dairies that bankrupted the country. Is it not Mugabe who told the nation that Mnangagwa and Chiwenga's outfit looted US 15 billion worth of diamonds? We have gone for 4 years without a single working cancer treatment machine. Mugabe left with three. So now, how is Mnangagwa better? Mugabe was a dictator, but was there ever a day he stole the MDC and raided parliament? Useless, like what Mnangagwa has done. During Mugabe's time, political activists were getting bail at the Magistrate Court. If Mnangagwa arrests me today, will I get bail? He goes on to say Mugabe ruled with fear and patronage, but he still kept the pretense of institutions alive. Mnangagwa has destroyed even that. Mugabe tolerated some critical voices in the press. Can you say the same under Mnangagwa? Under Mugabe, hospitals were deteriorating, but they were not dead. Under Mnangagwa, they are grave sites. Under Mugabe, you could buy fuel without needing a cartel connection. Under Mnangagwa, you need to know Taguire's boys. So tell us, MP, on what planet is Mnangagwa better than Mugabe? Be honest with the people you to represent. The truth is very simple, MP. When a tyrant outdoes another tyrant, it is not progress, it is a curse, recycled. So these were some of the criticism, that came as a result of Honorable Hwende, saying that. Uh, I've got also from the Varakasi Brigade. It is not a derogatory term. It is a term that they've won with honor. So don't come at me and say why are you calling them Varakasi, because it is who they are. They have taken that on board. They've won the badge with honor. So it is prudent that I call them by their rightful name, which is that of Warakashi. Um. Anyway, let me read one more before I go to what the Warakashi said. My sister Lynn said, for more than 2 decades, opposition has enjoyed and challenged goodwill from the masses. They loot, they're arrogant, no service delivery, incompetent. They collect bribes. They enter deal with ZANU-PF, Uganda. They even date Uganda left, right, and center. They are toxic. They force the masses to live in perpetual hate for each other. When they don't do the same, they wine and dine with the same people they force us to hate. In our foolishness, we continue to defend them. We find every excuse in the book why they deserve babysitting. They know this and they will continue to be incompetent on the backdrop of our benevolence and taking advantage of how much masses are fed up. Our PM, something must shift. Enough is enough. KMTC responded to what my sister Lynn said. He was like, anyway, we've always tried to open your eyes, folks, but you never listened because of the archaic form of politics you subscribed to. An opposition party is an alternative. Alternative is only useful if it's better than the incumbent. Zim opposition has never performed better than ZANU-PF in anything. Never, but we have people emotionally attached to such incompetent politicians. So this is a dig at Hwende, my young brother Muku. Kutizo, he holds the loudest trumpet when it comes to hero worshiping and praising Emerson Mnangagwa and what he is doing. He's paid for that. He's benefiting as a result of that. He actually weighed in and mentioned something to the effect. Let me see if I can get to that. To the effect that opposition members of parliament endorsed the term extension of President E.D. Mnangagwa. Abamamwesisi Wachingoti, we need new leaders by X, and he carried that with the image of Honorable Charlton Hwende. So let me see if I can get to another one. I know there's somebody else who has commented on that, and have used that to indicate that it is a sure endorsement of Emerson Mnangagwa. When you see folks like Honorable Wende, you know, supporting or singing praises, because there are people who are taking this as Honorable Wende singing praises to the leadership of Emerson Mnangagwa is somebody who is of a noble character, somebody who should be applauded, etc. Regarding the opposition, SG Charlton Wende, he has finally seen the light. When we say President E.D. Mnangagwa is a true game changer, we are dismissed as bootlickers or insulted, but truth stands tall. Wendy's recent remarks admitting ED's unmatched leadership confirm what many already know. We may not see a leader like ED anytime soon. Even critics know it deep down. They oppose for survival, but the results speaks louder. That's where one person, Zim Stereo, comes in with a post that was written by one Anesu Masambu, and it has got a heading that says Mnangagwa charms opposition MP Hwende, and in that article they go on to claim that Hwende's remarks are coming at a time when many MPs have raised concerns about the frequent absenteeism of cabinet ministers during Wednesday sessions, with observers accusing the appointees of avoiding tough questions and accountability. He says that while Mnangagwa's visit to parliament was hailed as a sign of leadership, when they emphasized that this should become the norm, not the exception. So this is something that is more maybe looking at the post in a in a different light than how that post has been viewed by so many people. So, if you're looking at this, there is, a reaction that has been given by so many people. Some welcoming, the remarks, some saying, no, you can't be speaking of Emerson Mnangagwa, giving praise like that, because he's not an individual who's deserving of these praises. So you can't be doing that. Right. So, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So I just thought that it is something that, on the face of it, when I'm looking at it, it has generated a conversation. And as you know, I strive on conversations. I strive on tackling issues that would have generated some conversations amongst the Zimbabwean folks. So this is why I'm having this particular show and covering this particular aspect. In case you might want to ask me, why are you covering that? I cover current issues. So I'm just going to be opening up the space, give you guys the opportunity to respond. So I gave this space a title, ED better than Mugabe, and I referred to the backlash, right? And then I went on to ask, was he misunderstood? Was Honorable Wende misunderstood? Let's have the conversation. So I'm heading, folks. Right. Ngoma Lenzo, should say? I am good. I am good.
Family.
Yes. Welcome to the space.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful space. Okomana chinyika chashakara icha. If he a member of praising Emerson Mnangagwa, a dictator, that means we don't have any opposition. When there is so embarrassing, what an embarrassing member of parliament from the opposition, reducing opposition to a pauper. We create a situation whereby an opposition member started praising Emerson Mnangagwa, who was actually stopping the opposition from holding rallies. Emerson Mnangagwa managed to block all the rallies belonging to Triple C. This is the same Emerson Mnangagwa who incarcerated Job Sikala and the most members of the opposition. And now, when the OEOCT, Emerson Mnangagwa is much better than Robert Mugabe. This is so disheartening coming from an opposition member like Charlton Hwende. There are no jobs. During the days we were serving in the police force, thousands of people fled the country under Emerson Mnangagwa's government. How many demonstrations have been allowed in Zimbabwe under Emerson Mnangagwa's regime? Emerson Mnangagwa is busy looting the country dry with his fellow affiliates in ZANU-PF. And you hear a member of opposition saying Emerson Mnangagwa has attended the parliament and Mugabe did not attend the parliament. So where is this opposition going? Uncle Jason, you speak it up.
I am German Greeka, and I'm working to come tower and come. German Greeka, go ahead.
Okay, this pandemic noise. Second, don't count maybe that's Greeka.
No, in any pandemic noise, the second Ningavara could do Musan's when noise remove bandili. But it will soon clear, very soon. But it's already. I'm still here.
Okay, so this is the kind of opposition which we have in Zimbabwe, whereby people are being driven by so for an Hwende, Zimbabwe. The country right now, he was involved in this gold mafia scandal. But today, Emerson Mnangagwa is much better than Robert Mugabe. It's so disheartening to hear such a kind of words coming from a well-renowned member of parliament.
But Mkomalenzo, are you not taking this out of context? Because, when he said what he said, he was referring to Emerson Mnangagwa coming into parliament. And he was saying, Kutizo, if he wants to come to parliament, at least he must come during the question and answer time so that he can respond to the questions that will be coming from the MPs.
Yeah, but Emerson Mnangagwa, he's not that kind of a person who can answer those questions. We were coming from heroes where people are not, heroes acre where people were not happy about the burial of Gata. There's still even a lot of tension within ZANU-PF themselves. So Mnangagwa was trying to seek public attention by attending that parliament. Otherwise, he's not going to do that anytime soon. Even if he goes that to that parliamentary building, I don't think he's going to answer any questions from the floor. Muna sympathy from people because he had that backlash of endorsing the burial of Sidney Gata at the National Shrine. Dunya Repap. And we hear this kind of nonsense from Charlton Hwende saying Mugabe was worse than Emerson Mnangagwa. That's absolutely nonsense. Thank you, Uncle
Right.
James.
Okay, thank you very much. Legatin Zogudu Wano to what she writes. I want to bring in Baba Shona into the conversation. Baba Shona,
Nyamakisa kumasoro
Mwishe Muraize.
ribhoini zvese apa.
Ayo, Tungo Daruda. Today, your comment on this.
You see, Mukomaka, those ndinokuratidza kuti we are still far from political maturity in our country. And listening to my brother Leonard there,
Uh-huh.
there's nothing that I think my listeners are we've got almost 200 listeners here. They can only judge themselves. But no, if we are going to continue with this trajectory as a nation, then trust me, we will continue, tinoramba tiri divided on these political grounds, emotions, and so forth. Mind you, these people vamuri kuswera muchitsamwira muchipopotera kuti vakazodai vakadai, they drink tea together, they eat together, they even have, birthday parties together, weddings together. So for you kuti ubude furo kupupa furo kuti Hwende azotaura kuti zvakati, I'll give you example Nyamashisha. If you remember very well, from 2009 to 2013, most of these opposition officials, especially Morgan Tsvangirai, go and read how Morgan Tsvangirai managed to get wealth when he was in government of national unity, right? Go and read how many of these individuals, amass wealth when they were in inclusive government. They drink together, they eat together. You yourself come on Twitter like this, in actual fact, Mkoma, I think this is an opportunity for these members of parliament, to ask questions. There's every day. There's corruption, there's this. If I were Hwende, I was going to use this opportunity to ask the president, you are saying you're fighting corruption. What are you doing about corruption? You're saying you're fighting drugs. What are you doing about drugs? You're saying you want to have a better health system in our country. What are you doing about health system? You're saying we need better roads. What are you doing about better roads? From the head of state, the head of cabinet, the head of executive. Then you get the answers dzamuri kuchemera. Manje mukada kuya muchipupa furo kuti Hwende azoide momutuka 24/7. Let me tell you this. Hwende is a member of parliament, he's receiving his coupons, he's receiving his allowance. Very soon, probably, he's going to have a new car, popota, and he's getting that is going to be signed by the head of state. Wamuri kutsamwira wacho ndiye anoapurva kuti mota ngadzinotengwa. So zvimwe zvinhu zvamoda kuswera muchipopotera vana vezimbabwe ka dema murimwe vamwe vanhu shungu dzamuri kupedza muchinodhiga mumunda pamari makatokohwa chibagwe temu yatopera rncc. What I'm trying to say is let's have a mindset inochinja mafungiro edu politically and focus more on building our nation than focusing on having.
Sorry to interject here. So
No,
here
don't,
just to
don't
I think
interject.
you have your time to talk.
Don't interject. Because you're going to have your
So
own time, to speak. So don't.
So you have your own time. All these things zvamuri kutaura zvokuti zvakazodai. The only upper house that we have in our country is the parliament, and all these issues will be solved there. Right now we are talking about the issue of Gukura Hwende. Those issues of Gukura Hwende can be solved in parliament. You are talking of people havana mvura. Those issues can be solved in parliament when the president avail himself into the parliament of Zimbabwe. This is a great opportunity for people who have got a mind of development, mind of unity, and mind of a better Zimbabwe than this thing of coming here. Akazoitire Hwende. For me, if I had the opportunity, I know to Hwende anofambira mazondo, anofarira mazondo sterei. Chatomutsvagira chigaba chemazondo pana pabhuchari pana patombobika zvake weekend inoyi.
But
Thanks Nyamakisa. Thanks so much.
Emerson Mnangagwa was not there. Was not in there for the Q&A. He just went in there. He just sat in there. He was not amongst the folks that were. He was not amongst the people that were going to be responding to the question. He just went in there. So can you really say that it was a missed opportunity for them to engage with him? Yet we know that it is not something that is that is a normal occurrence in parliament. So are you saying that these MPs should have just taken the advantage should have just taken advantage of that and say, "Kuti, we want to engage the president," while the president is just in there sitting?
So
Mm.
Nyamashisha, in parliament they've got what they call standing rules and orders, and they've got I'm sure they've got a privilege of maybe moving a motion in parliament to say, Mr. Speaker, say, oh, Madam Speaker,
Mm-hmm.
can you please allow us to engage the president in the next 10 minutes if your ruling ikava in our favor? They're allowed to do that. Or can you please allow us to have a question and answer next Wednesday with the president and his cabinet ministers? Mind you, Mukoma, we had a problem which the Speaker of Parliament has been saying for a long time, that we have got ministers who are not coming to attend question and answer every Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, they will just come in for 5 minutes just to mark a register and then they go. But in this now, president, he went there and he saw some of his cabinet members who are not out of the country on duty. They are not in parliament, but they are supposed to be in parliament to answer and to respond to questions that the members of parliament they want to ask, and also to represent the people of Zimbabwe. So this alone, even the Speaker of Parliament, remember it was on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, they got deputy ministers. Where are these deputy ministers? So now, going forward, I support Hwende. They should move a motion to the Speaker of Parliament. Can we have opportunity to the president or the vice president, right, to come and answer these questions? Because we are tired of ministers who then say, no, this thing or this, that. If the president or the vice president, for example, Vice President Chwenga,
Right.
is the supervisor of all the economic ministries in our country.
Right.
Vice President Muhadi is in charge of other issues like peace and reconciliation and so forth. Is the one that supervises all the ministers. And in this case, I want to hear a member of parliament and toda kuona vachiwenga vauye muno mazotiudza kuti nyaya dze-economic development dziri kumbofamba sei, nyaya dze-ministry of health dziri kumbofamba sei, because maministers achina azouya. Then we can go as a nation and we can grow from there. But with this kind of mentality that we are starting to witness here, vakomana
but can you blame the people that they've responded in the manner that they've responded, given that President Emerson Mnangagwa has been associated with some of the heinous occurrences that have happened in the country, some of the things that are currently going on in the country? And can you really blame people when they say, "Come on now, Hwende, you can't be saying that. You can't be saying that Mugabe, he was better than Mugabe." Maybe Hwende should have just said, "Oh, I've taken note of Emerson Mnangagwa being present in the August House, and it is my wish to see him coming in, just to come in and respond to the Q&A, than coming from this." Perspective of trying to make this comparison between Emerson Mnangagwa and Robert Mugabe,
Thank you.
and saying that Emerson Mnangagwa is better than Robert Mugabe just because Robert
Thank you,
Mugabe
Uncle.
just attended parliament.
That's awesome.
Mukoma,
That's awesome.
let me answer, I think, part of your questions when you say the heinous or I think the bad things.
Mm-hmm.
You see, people say a lot of things, but as it is right now,
Mm-hmm.
as we can see, President Mnangagwa is someone who is availing himself to the people of
No.
Zimbabwe.
When you say people say a lot of things, are you saying that people are lying by saying those lot of things? Are there no facts on the ground that support what people are saying? Because
if you ask me,
that is kind of being dismissive to say people just say a lot of things. But I give you an
no,
example: the issue of Gukura Undi, was he not the Minister of Security? The
this is
issue of
what
the
exactly.
2008
That's what
election,
exactly
is
I
he not
wanted.
on record
That's what,
saying that, "Oh, I had to make sure that I called did Masumtasa to say we have to make sure that Robert Mugabe does not step down"? Are these not factual things?
right. Let me respond to you. Actually, ndangaida kutouya kunyaya yegukura hundi.
Right.
The Gukura Hundi thing, Mkoma, it has got so many stories, so many accusations. But the reality of this whole matter is President Mugabe was the head of state and government, being a prime minister of Zimbabwe, right? And President Mugabe, then, he was the rubber stamp of every movement in Munyika, and he was the commander-in-chief of everything in Zimbabwe. So we cannot then come here and say, no, President Mnangagwa, then he was Minister of State, yet we had the Minister of Defense who was in charge of Mautu in Zimbabwe. We had the commanders of Zimbabwe Defense Forces, right? You are taking someone from another department to take him responsibility of things that has got another department. Let's move to 2008 that you have said, Mkoma. President Mnangagwa was the campaigning manager of President Mugabe. Then, for him to call or for him to be on record to say ndakafonera vamutasa kuti vamutasa muripi, or iwe goche uri kupi ndiwe secretary for security, he was trying to address to his comrades at a rally, or he was trying to explain kuma comrades ake parally kuti vakomana ndopatinga tasvika sepati sekuziva kwamunoita mutemo yemunyika hatigone kuwana a new president kana asina kuwana 50+1%. That's what he said, and that record I know it very well. So what I'm trying
No,
to
but
bring,
these guys, they were running away because they knew they knew the truth. They
No,
knew the outcome of the election. They knew that Mugabe had been malwhipped at the election. He himself said, Morgan Tsvangirai got 73%, and he got probably maybe 10%, and Simbamakoni got, the rest. They knew the truth. And this is why these guys were saying, you know what, I'm out of here. They, they were out on the first thing, smoking. I don't know which first thing smoking, that they used. Was it a bus? Was it a train? Trains were moving, back then. Was it a car? I don't know. But these guys, they were out there on the first thing smoking out of Harare. Come on now.
you see, Poma, in politics, you know it very well.
Right.
When it comes to an election period, I'll give you, for example, the 2018 elections.
Right.
I was campaigning in 2 provinces, which is Mash East and Mash West, right? And I was mainly operating in 2 districts, which is Goromon South and Mondoro Baira.
Right.
What I'm trying to say to you, Mkoma, when you're on the ground, simply hit. And when you don't have enough information of what is happening in other constituencies or other provinces or other districts, Mkoma unaita mudungu, munojunguluka. I'll give an example in Goromon South. If you go and check the results of Goromon South constituents, Mkoma, Nelson, that constituency had 68,000 registered voters. And in that constituency, I remember very well the figures that the president got, President Mnangagwa, and what opposition leader then, who was powerful then from the opposite side, Nelson Chamisa. They were very, very scary if you were someone who was just, focusing on that constituency. You would even conclude that we have lost election as a party. Or you would conclude that we have lost election because on that constituency mkoma takarakashwa andiri kunyembera takarowa and mu constituency mu takarowa ne Caledonia Zimraruwa and part of Epwet.
So are you just supposing that with what happened in 2008 that Didmus Mtasa was in a constituency whereby he noticed that Robert Mugabe Paturwa Banaba guys, and then he started to be quivering in his high taps and said, you know what, let me just disappear from the scene.
Zakapanika does not information because remember the President Mnangagwa, he was campaigning manager of the president President Mugabe. So he was at the center of receiving every detail on what was happening within the country through ZANU-PF intelligence community, Diadema elections or electoral department.
Right.
So regarding President Mkoma.
Okay.
What we do with ZANU-PF right now, we have changed the nature of politics. Isusu mu politics takatosiyana politics yadzofamba tichifundisira vanhu kana politics zokuti vanhu ngavarwe, kana politics zokuti vanhu ngavasaonana, politics zokuti vanhu ngavasataura. We want to engage with the people, we want to eat with the people, we want to drink with the people, we want to live with the people, because this is politics. And I always quote it, Professor Jonathan, politics is in the grassroots. And in grassroots, this is where you find the people from different corners of life. Thank you very much.
Right, I hear you. Thank you very much, for that. Let me bring in Douglas. Douglas Shumba, how you doing? Welcome to the spot.
Ngoma jedza zviri sei apa?
I am good. I am good. Zviri sei Ngoma?
Zvamazuva riri kupisa paDublin zvekuti unogona
Ebe.
nyangwe kupedza 10 liters yemvura.
Mndaraka inineka pano nge namotora ningi vesera nana pfeka mara anenge mvura mara pfeka. Ndikadari ngene
Apatoma.
ngane pamashops ndinotsvaga maice. Mndara ndazodzoka ipapo ndingidapo.
Zvatoma. Pakaipa.
Vakaipa.
So the problem that we have Ngoma jedza in our country is people trying to be saints and acting holy, knowing very well what ZANU-PF is capable of. I'm surprised when Baba Shona is speaking. He speaks as if ZANU-PF is this saint organization that is accused of things that it had never done or it is not doing. He wants to paint a picture that Gukura Hwende is a myth that never happened in Zimbabwe. He is equating it to Ngano, but Gukura Hwende Ngano. They do not accept reality. The only way that people, he's talking of them moving from a politics of hate to the politics of engagement. But you can't move to that point of politics of engagement if you do not accept your mistakes of the past, if you do not accept that we made mistakes in the past. That is why you find that no matter how much they try to paint that they are good, Mnangagwa is now an angel. Zimbabweans, they still remember Mnangagwa for who he was and who he is because they don't want to accept the reality. There is no forgiveness without the reconciliation. This thing, yes, one reason is people away with mistakes, each other forgiveness. Then we move and that he is praying for. But they're there. He was on the ground in the election. I don't know which he is, but also on the ground.
Right, Mkuma Douglas. Mkuma Douglas.
Hmm?
Your network is not clear. You are coming in and out, and I can hardly make out what you're saying. Is it okay? I don't know. Could he? Yeah, if you can move to a better spot where you can get maximum coverage in terms of your reception. Right. That's all right.
Okay. Am I clear now, or I should drop the note? I'll come back.
No, I suggest that you drop. Yeah,
Okay.
let me drop you. Let me drop
Drop and
you. Yeah, look
I'll
out
come
for
back.
look out
I'll go to.
for the invite. I'm sending it right now. I've sent the invite right now. So if you can if you can respond to that. Right. Okay. Let me see if I can get folks to come through. Mkoma Douglas, I've sent you that request. So if you can respond to that. Right. Basta, in the meantime, do you want to come through? And BM, if you can
Thank you.
get yourself ready.
Yeah, thanks, Uncle. Maskura Bone as well. I did want to speak, but I was provoked by Baba Shona. It's always hard to listen to him when he comes up here because this kind of, propaganda irikuti cost as a nation. The issue iripo Uncle ndeyekuti chinhu chese chinotaurwa chinobata government chinobata ED Varuma, they will come out of their shells to defend. And I remember the first thing he did when he got into office, he created Kabandiko Kanonzi Varakashi. What was the purpose for that? The purpose for that was to push back at all cost. Saka this is exactly another bashona zvari kuita. Kuti vanouya panapa vachi try to distance mukuru wavo at all cost, even zvichikosta nation. There is no Zimbabwe at heart, as this is in the best interest of Zimbabwe. But I'll prove you right. Babashona panapa, and he speaks like things are normal in our country. A normal economy, a normal judiciary, a normal, we talk about everything. State captures, the normal electoral processes. His keyword, Maganzo Arakashachu Yapanapa, would forget about this. They quickly fast forward. And they were tanzi Gatibata Nativa Kenyika. But these guys, you never see them coming out. Vachiti, Zakaitwa Mswa 1st of August. Or Zakaitwa Gukura Hwende. In the Zimbabwe at Trukudai Susu. We still need some answers. Kuti Vakazita and Divanani. Zifana kuya public domain. Kuzauti Akaura Vanu. Muswa 1st of August. At his zivesh. Zakaitwa Blawa is bumping Yakaitka kuna at his zive. Because it has got to do with the internals of ZANU-PF, cannot the state. They will never. Yesterday, Mangamune Dara Mamuna uncle read the finances. Mashandis Rawit from Marin up to Linobe. You barely see these guys coming up. And Babashona. Vanita ku sefa. They might change a topic match chamisa my own for the Panam. This is not doing even Idiwach a favor or even our nation a favor. Babashona wa panapa vachita kunge isusnogara from another planet. Yekutara zakaitwa na ED when he lost the elections. Flip of the coin na Bob argunya to admit. Aka admit futi pa kuti no, he lost. Trangira won. But Babashona, who should we listen then, Zimbabweans? Should we listen to Babashona or should we listen to the gaffer himself? Zakaitwa Pepe is in public domain. Vano funga titirivana dig vashachi twist out. No, vakazodai. It's a joke when you speak. But let me in landing, because in Shirku Parura, I don't want to compare the same devil. Even though Vakawaya Neguti First Republic and Second Republic, or New Dispensation, not all the New Dispensation, Vanarim Semu Mori. The first is you see most of these guys Vangawaran first. Do Wakaita with Zimbabwe I don't know who the first Chachuchi. But just to compare, I didn't want to compare. Mogadakuta the area Bob compared to the Second Republic. What this man has done, Aripa ED, has done is destroyed the country. The 7 years or 8 years he's been in power. It's like the 45 years. What he's contributed, the problems that he now has. Appointed Tarisai Nyaema drugs. Under the leadership, I don't want to make, Uncle, get me right, I don't want to make Bob a saint. Because Vamuchetevana. But the point out ED is worse than Robert Mugabe. Punishing a few things. And I want to challenge Babashona. You put me right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kuti Nyaema drugs akupinda mnyika. Nyae corruption. Nyae kuraiwa kuvano. Stepped capture. Nyae elections. We've never had my elections are like Akaitwa under his leadership. Even the economic side. Varkutambura ne currency. Bob angari wise because I said pekutsika. Kuti at least anoro machifuridzira kati zvinhu zvakambooma anombodai vanofara vokangano. So in short, Nruguti, they are the same devils, but it's crazy to compare the two, and it's crazy to say ED is doing well than Bobo. Zimbabwe is not better. Nyika yaimbofaka naka under his leadership. It's unfortunate. Karatina wananza rakasha when we prioritize the individual, probably in 20 years' time, anangasi sipo. Look at Machina Zarbitamnika. Nyika irikuenda takatarisa. They are taking over everywhere. But tinenge tichinzi ngatibateni maoko tishande pamwe chete. It's quite sad that ana babashona one of the days muchazouya makuti no zvana tamba oga makukumbira kuregera kuti sorry guys, hapasisina, we're not going to get back our country back. But it's unfortunate kuti ndozvazviri anko, and nyika iri kumbunyikidzwa. Tirakutonzi bvumai iri kutongerwa chitororo baro. We've got nothing, everything is wrong under his leadership. Tichazozvitaura tichazoka panapa after a few years toita review the whole thing, toona kuti ed anenge aenda tozoona kuti zvamuri kutaura chokwadi.
Right.
Thanks a
Okay.
lot,
Thank you
uncle.
very much. Appreciate. Can I have ABM to come through?
Yes, Uncle Mursey.
Abana, say.
Ndachikuseka because kuitika ikoko ku UK zvakaitika kuno Canada about 2 years ago.
Hey.
Ndakafunga nyika yakupera. Oh, kupinza kwazvakaita mundara
Ah,
zvokuti oh,
today is something else. I want to like.
I'm glad I'm not there.
Ah.
Kunoku kuri kutondorera. There's a nice breeze coming through my window.
Come on now.
I know what you went through. I remember.
Mm.
So I understand what you guys are going through. Because kubasa kwakutori nani, because at least kwakune air conditioning as wazodzoka kumba, so kurara chaiko chaiko kwaitonetsa, nyange ukaisa feni ukaisa chii, aiwa, so anyways, I feel your pain. um, but anyways, tombotaura nezvekutaurwa nhasi. Ndada kutanga ndichingoti, the previous speaker, Buster, very good to hear from you. But it's just so funny that yesterday we were on this space talking about how Zimbabwe is now among the top 5 economies in SADC, right? So, and then you go ahead and you try and say that the economy is going to hell. There's nothing that is going on and everything. It's just funny. It goes against a lot of truths that are available. And I think that what Charlton Wende, Honorable Charlton Wende said is something that is to be commended. When you see something good, say it. That is mature opposition. And that's what I have always been clamoring for. That the kids net is the CCC or the kids net as it's just opposing for the sake of opposing. Sometimes it does not make sense. Zunongo, it's very refreshing for somebody to just point out Kutichi, but hey, listen, Mugabe never attended parliament outside the official opening ceremonies. This is the third time that President ED has come to parliament outside the official opening ceremonies. Next time, we must have the president during questioning time responding to our questions. All right. So this is a president that has called himself a listening president. All right, and his actions. He's saying my actions will speak better, louder than anything else. Whether we want to compare him to Mugabe or not, PF because when Mugabe was alive, the same people were wishing death on Mugabe. They were wishing everything. Kuska Gayena Chairo Chairo. But then now they want to start to come up here, Umbatara uti, hey, Msadaro na Mugabe, hey, Chichi, ayo Mugabe duwe kuzano PF. All right, and so you hated him then, and you're gonna hate the next ZANU PF leader, Chapinzo Pashgaro, right? So, but then this is very childish because what Mnangagwa is doing is really listening. Okay, ndakataura nezuro inini uncle ndichikudzai kuti vamunangagwa pavakaita president vachiuya kunoku vachiita mameetings nemazimbabweans tichiwadza kuti toda kuinvesta kuzimbabwe but then zvinonetsa we cannot get loans kuzimbabwe because vamwe vedu hatina collateral hatina chii and vachimbva vateerera and guess what in 2020 zida was created handiti inobatsira munhu kumupa direction kuti nemarket research zvese kuti iwe utange zvauda kuita kana waenda uine business plan yako handiti so for Hwende to point out zviri kuitwa nani navamunangagwa ka vamwe vanhu vambva vatanga kungovhunduka hameno zvavanongoita havangodi kungonzwawo zvinhu zvakanaka about Zimbabwe. Vamwe vanhu vanotoramba kuti Zimbabwe is one of the fastest growing economies in Southern Africa. Vanotozviramba and vanotofa vachitozviramba and you cannot change that. Vamwe vanhu havatombodi kunzwa zvinhu zvakanaka out of Zimbabwe. But then I wish for and I dream of a real opposition yekuti inenge ichitakura ma-real issues ine ma-policies ayo ende isingangoite zvongoti inongomirira kuti ZANU-PF ite something kana kuti pataurwa kungonzi ZANU-PF then votanga kumba vatanga kutaura at least kana vanhu vaine ma-policies avo vachinyatsodebata zvakanaka-naka vachinzwanana ende tembva taziva kuti pamwe vanhu vari kudawo the betterment of Zimbabwe. But then when you're always constantly opposing and opposing, ukangonzwa kuti ZANU-PF wombva waita senge wasvikirwa ka hameno kuti unofa wakata sei because tiri kuita tichikura tingori pana pamaspaces ka asi iwe uda kuzongonzire nemwana wako waangofa uchingocomplaina kuti ZANU-PF apa iwe hausi weZANU-PF kupati kwenyu hamuna political party kwenyu Jesus Chamisa akaramba party akati handichadi saka Hwende uyo i-homeless munhu handiti ka let him do his thing. He's being a politician. Your leader walked away. Now you want to debate about our leaders, Mugabe and ED. You want to now start defending or pitting Mugabe and ED? No. Anditi, that is our leaders. Yes, ZANU-PF. Kwenyu kwa ameno kana muri MDCA, BCD, kana CCC, I don't know. Anditika, we don't know. But then we know that you're good at complaining. That's the very unfortunate thing. And those akavangoma leaders in Adakuchinja, Chimafungre and Wanana Hwende. He's trying to align you to hey, don't just hate all the time. Okay? There's some good, just like Munwese adzimwe nguva ane chinhu chakanaka chaanoitawo nezvimwe zvinhu nyangwe chidhakwa chemumhuri menyu handiti pane rimwewo zuva ramunoti agonawo handiti ka zvinhu and we should just understand upenyu. All right?
Right.
Because if we want to start putting these people as caricatures or just cartoons and stereotype what ZANU-PF is or what Ningi is, it's just very unfortunate, and it's more unfortunate because the people that are now commenting a lot, they're people that their own political leader has quit their own political party. So it's just very unfortunate and it's laughable. And it's going to go to Zanu Kochi, Tinana Mugabe, Tinana Idi, Tinana Takapeka. But Uncle,
Right.
in when Vuramusanwe Doro, don't think it be a to help you live. We want you to host another space. In when Vura
Right.
Musanwe Doro.
Okay. Thank you for the advice. I'll drink more alcohol
So,
than the water. Thank you very much.
Oh,
sorry, Uncle, sorry, in Sanda Zika, that kind of one bunzo, very interesting pastiken. Kuti, I guess you had Baraka Shachuya, or these guys who from ZANU-PF side, Vachitara, but Zeta Hwende, we should applaud it. Saka mvunzo wangu andoda ukanda pastiken anko kune achazuya maybe mozondibvunzira basho navatiza vanogara vakanditiza It's not something new. Kuti, where do we draw the line, or where do we save? Shall we take everything zinotaurwa na Hwende kuti ichokwadi, or we have to be selective, kana zviri in favor of ZANU-PF? Ndoda kunzwisa, because he has said so many things against ZANU-PF. Should we applaud him for that as well? Kana kuti zviri kungopikisana ne-opposition?
Well,
Thanks.
as a ZANU-PF
Okay.
card carrying member, I can answer.
Ayo, Amira.
Um,
Taunzwa vamwe. Is that a question I'm pose Hwende? But I want to hear others. Right. Douglas, can I come back to you now?
Yeah, I'm back. Am I audible?
Yes, you are good now. Please, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Uncle. So it's very, like as I was saying, ndakatera zvangu comrade vari kucanada vachitaura anonzanikwa
ABM,
ABM.
yes.
Yeah, they read from the same script. They've got a script yavakapiwa, and that script they have to read it every day to people, so that people they believe it. He said EG came to Canada, EG promised them to uyai kuZimbabwe, invest and do a lot of things. Nyika yanaka is the fastest growing economy in SADC. What they are saying, but he's still stuck there in Canada. Okay, that's besides the point. I want to respond Angu Jeza pa issue ya Mugabe versus ED yataona Hwende. Hwende, if you followed him even pakatanga challenge akazvita siye chamisa asiye the opposition, Hwende is very consistent in supporting ED. He is very consistent. He is now even very careful of what he says against ED, because these guys have accepted that they are no longer with the people. So whatever he says now going forward, Hwende is very consistent. He is very careful of what he says. ABM is saying, is echoing what Bashona has said, because AD has opened the political space, Zimbabwe, Takwita, so, but it is the same ED who manufactured, who engineered what has caused even Chamisa to left his party. If ED was a changed person, if he was better than Mugabe, he should have allowed the opposition to thrive, just as Mugabe did during Tsvangirai's time. He should have allowed the opposition in its character and its structure to exist, then compete with it. But he made sure that he destroyed the opposition. After destroying it, he now sends Varakashi to sell this narrative. The opposition is dead. It's not dead. He should say we killed the opposition. This is the same guy that is saying is better, who has killed the opposition. Mnangagwa said there is nothing that is going to happen in councils because issues were government. So my councillors say opposition when they've got issues. One of them is a coup because we have centralized everything through the minister of local government. It is Mnangagwa saying this. So for anyone to think that Mnangagwa can be any better, Mnangagwa can be any better for Zimbabwe, that person is daydreaming. Mnangagwa walks into parliament not to answer questions from parliamentarians or to do anything, just to sit there. Surely you cannot applaud someone for sitting. He did nothing. He just went and sit. 3 times he went to parliament unannounced to sit and to come back. Nothing happens. Then we want to say this person is better. What has he done? He has came to parliament to sit. I don't think when there is right in his mind. But if you read, there's this sister. So I think it's Lynn's comment. She summarized everything that is now wrong with the opposition politics. Because these guys, they've seen that majority of Zimbabweans are fed up with ZANU-PF. They need an option B. So they've taken advantage of the desperate in people to fill that void and say, we are here. And when they're elected, they show the people the middle finger. They dine with the very people who have persecuted Zimbabweans. It's very sad when you listen to Baba Shona saying, imagine a very normal, sane person saying, Like he's throwing, he's peeing
No, I don't
on
think
the whole thing. Eh?
stop lying,
Hmm?
Douglas. And this guy, he did not say Zingorinya. No.
No. He said
ABM,
Zingorinya,
ABM,
yeah.
ABM,
Ah.
ABM, when you were speaking,
I
nobody
apologize.
interrupted you.
I apologize. Sorry.
So
Okay, it's fine.
do people the favor, retain the favor.
You were saying here the Gungura with the Zingorinya, like it's a myth. Do vana vavo and they will now say with the narrative yekuti kukura hundi ingano haisi nyaya yakatoitika dzingori ngano dzakangoitika muZimbabwe. That is where they are going with that kind of thinking, that dzingori ngano hazvina kumboitika. So he said in his remarks, ED is promoting a politics of engagement. I like the politics of engagement. We should engage. We should be able to talk to each other, as Zimbabweans, regardless of which political party you belong to. We should be able to do that. But ED is not that kind of person who actually likes that to happen to Zimbabweans. He actually wants us to be fighting against each other every day. That's why he has created this group of Warakash. That's why he has created millionaires, a niche of millionaires that he is sending in Zimbabwe. People will be leaking from those people. Straight out desperate, and we see them as our heroes. That's what he is doing, and then Bashona is coming to us and say, no, this guy is the best thing that can that has happened to Zimbabwe, and he's a better leader. Him and Mugabe, they belong to the same pot. They are as bad as they come. That's my submission. And Hwende is misplaced if he thinks that he is a better leader in ED. He actually failed he is a very bad judge of character by saying that.
Right. There's also another point that Hwende, raised when he was engaging folks on his timeline. Those, that came to engage him after he posted that. There's an individual by the name Vonnie who said the first time in history to hear an opposition MP saying president to a ZANU-PF guy. He goes on to say, Nelson Chamisa is the most incompetent and useless opposition leader I know, but he is also the only guy who refused to be bought, and for that, I have so much respect for him. And then Hwende responded, you are a fool.
Yes.
There is one president
and in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
With that statement alone, because I was trying to understand where he was coming from with his primary post, which he began by comparing Robert Mugabe and Emmerson Mnangagwa. To say Emmerson Mnangagwa is better because he has attended Parliament 3 times, even though he did not respond to any questions, but is clamoring for a situation whereby we get the president of the country to come in and answer questions. And there he says, there's only one president in Zimbabwe, and that president is Emmerson Mnangagwa. So is he justified in the call that he has made? I know people have got an issue whereby he has made this comparison. I even said, would it have been better for him not to have begun his post by making this equivalence? Had it been better for him if he had just gone straight to say, Emmerson Mnangagwa has attended Parliament 3 times,
mm-hmm.
and it is my wish to see him attend so often, but attending to answer questions in Parliament, because he's the only president that is there.
No, for him to put the comparison first, like I said, that these guys, they have accepted, and they are now even part and parcel of the system. So to put the comparison first is trying to highlight the importance of Emmerson Mnangagwa, without putting the comparison first, just by saying, yeah, it's good that he came to Parliament, he should come and ask and answer questions. He is not he won't be actually highlighting Mnangagwa the way that he wants people to view Mnangagwa. In his eyes, in his thinking, he's saying there is a certain way that he wants people to view Mnangagwa.
Right.
They have to view him as someone who is much better, a higher thing. That is thing. But that being it's his choice. He has got that democratic right to choose or to associate or to comment or write whatever. He right. No one can control that. No one can control that. But I think Hwende has made his points clear from the past for a long time now. I myself am not even surprised if I see Hwende saying this or doing this, because it's something that we already know.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. That's the commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the work that we do here on the spaces that we give, there's a link right there where you can donate. Nasi kuri kupisa mungo donate we dringa umana ngoti ukananga hangu koko zvangu. I know kuti kune vamwe vanhu vane problem nekuti zvondingi ndinonzi zvangu enda motenga whiskey. I know there are some people that that wants to look after my papus and my livers and my stuff like that. I know they are there, but Mungo is okay drinker, man. I just to appreciate the work that we do. But anyway, let me go to Cyril Jiri. How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the space.
Hello, Uncle. How are you?
I am good. Should you say?
I'm good. Before I make my submission, maybe you answer me sometime. I just want to ask if this accent comes with a software of foolishness, because 90% of people want to my accent, they speak nonsense. So this one is besides the point. I'm just making what I've seen, because you hear someone coming on the space and saying,
uncle uncle from long time ago.
No. Me, I thought he was referring to me when I was saying, please, come through with your donations.
No.
Donate, donate to the Uncle Jade Negro Fund.
Yes, we are going to donate. We are going to definitely donate. But I was just asking because I'm concerned about my brothers in Europe and America, because most of them who pick up this accent, they talk nonsense. They just talk like they are saying something sensible, but they are not. Because like someone coming on the space and saying, E.D. Mugabe, the president of ZANU-PF, is nonsense, because E.D. Mugabe, the president of Zimbabwe, they are leading Zimbabwe. They are leading Zimbabwe. They are not leading ZANU-PF. He is not a party president. He is a national president. So he is bound to be criticized. He is bound to be taken to task by everyone and anyone. And coming back to what Hwende said yesterday, when I saw this post from Hwende, at first I was mad. I was angry at him. But then I stepped back and I looked and said, no, this guy is not saying something new, because he's ZANU-PF already. The elections were held in 2023. He's in parliament. We don't have an opposition in parliament. Their leader, Nelson Chamisa, stepped aside and said this thing is corrupted. And if Hwende is still in CCC, why are we angry? Why is the opposition angry about Hwende praising Mnangagwa? Because Hwende automatically is there in parliament to push 2030 agenda. Because one thing that Hwende knows is, if Hwende is coming to compete in the election 2028, suppose, he's not going to win. He's done and dusted. So the only option that he has to survive in parliament is pushing 2030 agenda. And for him to just wait for other people to push it, he's pushing it now himself. Already, testing the waters. He knew exactly what he was saying. He knew exactly what he was doing. By praising Mnangagwa, when people like Mo Blessing Ali was killed when he was in the CCC, when people like Moneni Ngube was killed when he was in the CCC, no one was arrested for Moneni Ngube's murder, and he's praising the godfather